yeah, let's try to be great.
Oh Lord, is that Clay?
That
Minimum
thought.
effort,
I don't want
maximum
to pursue that
product.
thought. I don't want to engage that thought. In fact, even when I work, I still feel like I could do this way more efficiently in numbers wise. But then it always requires a product, a tangent of information, and a personality that's already synthesized with all that. Like you have to actually be a living character, a main character, if you want to have a business. You know,
That's
you
true.
have to really be sick.
But you are, eh?
Well,
You are.
and the beauty of it is when we like that, we talk about each other, but we don't really talk about ourselves. That's the joke of it. And that's how it is because we know we know what's up.
That's true, bro. Like, but that's
Yeah.
things. So you have to leave it for other people to say. That's the thing.
And even for your friends, I want to acknowledge it in the people I see it first before I begin to reach on my skills. It's not like I start close, but for things like that, you're looking at a relationship, your understanding of human behavior, things like that. You're coming from yourself, but it's easier to notice sometimes on the outside, even for you to put in a tangible form.
Yeah.
Because I'll be with my friends to be doing stuff, and in the midst of our engagements, we were like, main character energy. You know? That's something that I bring out. I'm seeing it a little bit now on IG, but I know me and my friends, we've been bubbling that for a while. I brought it up. And
well, I don't know where I saw it, but that was the phrase, bro. Main character energy for real. Like, I feel like anybody that do have main character energy is like NPCs. Everybody else is like...
Well, I feel like loading because you can't really tell anybody when to wake up or when to turn on. And we're not in charge. And that's why anybody who's an underdog can catch you by surprise. And the best attack is the one you don't know that's coming. So anybody you think is an NPC still has the opportunity to surprise you.
It's a bit unfortunate though, because naturally, I feel that's just the spirit of anybody that's doing well. Well, I shouldn't say anybody, but that's the spirit of, I guess, people that match my personal energy. They want to help other people, which I get, or at the very least help people wake up, you know, and it's unfortunate and it's sad, at least for me, when I see people, like, I want them to wake up, but they're just not ready to wake up.
That's the thing, and you know what that is? It's conflict, and it's friction, and sometimes it comes across even as wasted energy.
Conflict in what though?
The reason being, for instance, we're dealing with life as a plane of space, and then it's better sometimes if we deal with what's really going on as opposed to our projections from our mind. Because our projections are very much conditioned, and they have conditioned atmospheres, the conditioned idea, and it's the pursuit of thought. Thought naturally just does this. So sometimes with us, especially when it pertains to others, it's very difficult to want to bring somebody out without inspiring them, and to inspire them they have to be touched, they have to feel vulnerable, they have to feel as though
and that vulnerability,
they have to feel as though it's not even really them, or like as if it's nobody at all. Like there has to be like a dissolution of the personality.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened. Yeah, man, I think I agree with that. So I like to do some icebreakers, you know, before we continue. Before we start, actually, I like to do some icebreakers. So the first icebreaker that I have is, I've only done it once before. For the past couple episodes, I've just been trying different things. But the name of it is Astrology Audit. So that's why I asked you for your birthday.
Nice, I like this. I want to know this.
Okay, so brief description of what it is. It's basically, I read your horoscope for this week and today. And the point of this is, do you believe in astrology or do you subscribe to it?
Well, I think all of it has a part to play. And funny enough, it's said that it's really because of the planetary gases that change the chemical composition of the atmosphere. It's supposed to be a minuscule effect because you know how the air is not 100% oxygen, so that it's a combo. So like, it's a minuscule effect, but it's almost like a perfume. That's how I visualize it. So
Like pheromones.
Yeah, at different times of year,
Yeah.
the chemical components of the air even changes.
Mm.
So that allows for a lot of what is being said in astrology and these different aspects to manifest still in a little more physical form. So even if it's not like a religion, or that's not my go-to, it is still a phenomenon
That's a part of it.
most likely very much real.
Okay, true. Okay, so basically what it is, you know, people believe, some people, you know, truly believe and subscribe to it, and some people don't. So what I like to do is just read the horoscope and just see if it actually makes sense, if you could relate to it, you know, depending on your week, depending on today. The thing about it is, the first time I did it, I actually did that shoot in the night. Okay, so the person day had already passed, so they would be able to, you know, tell me if it's making sense. But for you, it's kind of mid-morning, midday. So, but that's okay. We'll see, because, you know, because of how much of the day has already passed, we'll just see what happens.
Facts.
Okay, so I have it right here. So I'm going to read the first one is today, and the second one is for your week. Okay, and the week is almost done. So,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's actually really, I'm happy about that. It's reminding me of the right thing. You know, I got time and I got the end of the week.
Okay, so today the moon transits through Pisces, enhancing your intuition and emotional awareness. This alignment encourages you to trust your inner voice and embrace self-awareness. It's a favorable time to reflect on personal growth and avoid seeking external validation. Additionally, the sextile between Saturn and Uranus is in Pisces and Taurus suggests potential changes in your home life and intimate relationships. Embrace these shifts with an open heart, as they may lead to positive transformations. That's for today. What do you think?
See, I'm hot already. Yeah. I don't know what's up. I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing, but I know what's up.
See what's on you, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say what's up, bro, but I know what's up.
But are you in the...
It's very accurate.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, man, because think about it, right? Pisces is my sun sign. Now, that's how I see myself.
Just now, before you continue,
yeah,
I don't know that much about
no, it's okay, but I'll tell you.
Yeah,
what
okay.
I'm saying, I think it'll be self-explanatory.
Okay, perfect.
Because Pisces is my sun sign, meaning it's how I see myself. That means like, I see myself very much like a spiritual child. Like I don't see myself in any sort of like rigid or sort of like, you know, like for me, I can't really age. Like I feel like I felt when I was 12 and 13 and 14. Like I feel it almost the same. In fact, I sort of look up to my younger self like, what? Like this guy was tough. Like, you know, like I respect this scene, bro. I respect it. From like an observer.
So you still have this childlike childlike energy.
That's how I see myself.
That's nice.
I have different appearances so as to the world, my emotional space, etc. But it's like, you know, for me to myself, I have my own little dialogue. It's different. It's different. I know how I view myself for real. So those planets passing through that sort of space, it already tells you, because the planets themselves really relate to different emotional energies, communication, mental energies, the heart space. Although I didn't really hear. It's droop it. But anyway, I can't remember the specifics either, to be honest, because it's not like it's my religion or something so strong. But you know, as the planets transition through that sort of sign, because Pisces is a water sign, it's the it's supposed to be the 12th sign, the amalgamation of all the signs. It's like it's the Christ consciousness sign, so to speak. Yeah, it's like, you know, the fish swim upstream, downstream, like that sort of, you know, emotional sort of space, flowing water, mutual, friendly, relationship base. You know, and yeah, it makes sense, bro. That's really what happens sometimes, because if even you had to go through that space for what it really meant, if you had to translate it and say like, okay, I'm going through this emotional, youthful, moving, you know, transient sort of energy. It speaks to something like that. Like, you should probably be open. You should probably look out for stuff like that. Things could have a positive effect on you, because if something is going to affect you, it has to move you.
Okay.
And if you're gonna be moved, like you're hot, you have to be touched, you have to
Yeah.
feel like what? Like you have your own experience now. It's not like what you think, it's like you know.
Yeah. Okay. True.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense, bro. Okay, so this is your week now. This week invites reflection and growth. The early days may bring uncertainty, especially in finances and relationships. Resist impulsive reactions and use this time to reassess your priorities. A significant shift occurs as Saturn moves into Aries on Saturday, entering your second house of money, values, and self-worth. This transition offers a preview of a powerful financial cycle ahead, encouraging you to refine your earning strategies and invest in your skills for greater stability. As this week progresses, you'll experience increased confidence and positive energy. Embrace this momentum to pursue your goals and strengthen your relationships.
That's some solid advice, boy. No cap. I hope I don't start going and look for my horoscope when I feel it off. Because you know, when you're on, you can feel the energy, you can feel the seasons. So you be knowing this kind of stuff. Like you know,
it's
you can
almost
feel
intuitive.
it, like it's intuitive.
Yeah.
You be feeling it, like your mind is like that for real. by Saturday, my mind in Aries, because my confidence, however it has moved, is gonna just explode. I know I have nothing to do really on my calendar, and that's how I like it. That's how I like it. Free time, and that's really, you know, that's the kind of space I thrive on. Because the reflection plays a big part in your plan and your strategy, and that's my favorite thing, really, like to just reflect and gain strength. Because even right now, this August, I'll be 2 years straight working out every week, every single week, at least. Well, it was usually 4 times a week, but since February, I reduced to like 2 to 3. I did a deloading after my birthday, and really and truly, a lot of that came out of me just reflecting, having a look at where I was in 2022, where I was in 2023, like looking at it, reviewing it, looking at the highlights, seeing what was actually important to me, you know, and then sort of taking that atmosphere to propel me to come down and invest in myself, invest in my infrastructure, and life sort of played along, you know. I remember even ordering things and getting it for free. Like I was like, this is making sense. So right now, they're almost 2 years in. I'm 100% sure this came up of reflection. Nice, and I was actually in Guyana. It was like I'm a family friend, and he was telling me like, "Wow, you're so buff." I was like, bro. I haven't been working out. Like I still was finding that strange to say it. Like I haven't even been hitting the gym. I was asking myself in the same moment, like you don't find that strange? Like, bro, you don't find it strange. You just not working out. You think that's okay? Like, you know. And this medicine, and then I pull up my Insta, going for my highlights. I'm looking at what the previous year was to me and the year before that. And when you go back for me alone, past 12 months, I tend to see a different side because I wasn't thinking of 12 months later in such detail. So like now, here I am looking at the effects of 13, 14, 15 months of continuous activity. And then that reflection just tells me something. It tells me like, seriously, like you just have to be more serious. Like even my young homies, I was telling me like, boy, I seem like to me all your problems could be solved if you just get more serious in the gym, you know.
I've actually seen you like I've seen the change because just from you not posting to you now posting, I seen like, you know, you posting, so that just I just have it in my mind. Yeah, man, that man get more serious, that man more consistent in the gym. Because I've been praying the starters 1-2 time. I seen like you don't do bench press, you know, what you call that, dumbbell press.
Now you know I just sprinkle that because that's like a regular conditioning for me. It's the heaviest dumbbells I have at the gym, and it's not really something I can do if I'm feeling weak. If I'm not eating properly, if I'm not training right, if my wrist and everything not feeling strong. So like when I do that, when I do it and I do it like I'm going for 8, I'm comfy. I know like I'm in a good space. It's a marker for me. I go higher in my other loading exercises, but for me that's like a conditioning exercise. Just for raw strength, and because it's sort of risky too, because when you have heavy dumbbells and you're going with it, if you move wrong, like,
Yeah.
and you drop
You
this,
go
you
balance,
could
you drop
mess
one.
up so many joints and muscle structure. So it's like you have
But those that do the dumbbell press, they're stronger because it's almost like it works the smaller muscles and the stabilizing muscles. Because when you're doing the bench press, you have the whole bar and you almost have the other side to support you.
Mhm.
But for the dumbbell, it's like individual. Imagine you have 245s or 250s or 150s or you know,
and you have to make sure you
and make
balance
sure
out.
both of
And
them.
still good form, allowing the muscle to be at the right, like, to me, it's not really like the right tension, like the right amount of tension. But sometimes you're not supposed to be tense.
Yeah.
And sometimes you actually know when to contract.
Mhm.
So it's like a mind muscle connection.
Yeah.
And I didn't really think about it so heavy, but when I sort of just designed my workout routine
Mhm.
at different points, and then I've kept to it for months.
Nice.
It's easier for me to do
Do you
that.
change it?
I change it from time to time, but it's because I've been in the gym since I was 12.
Okay.
I was a chubby kid.
Yeah.
I was on the
remember
mat
you.
doing aerobics. Then I started with weight maybe when I was 14, like lightweight, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's part of the muscular structure developing. And then
Yeah.
by Form 3, by the time I was 15, I was on good already.
Mm.
But over those years, we worked different workout programs, sheets, different things. Even like when I wasn't so serious doing calisthenics, getting programs, looking at that, I kind of fell back into a zone where I look at all this and I'm like, bro, I feel like what would work best for me is a combination of like the real old school compound lifts. And there's a few things I like because I just hit in the muscle. I do, what do you call it again? It's supersets of opposing muscle groups.
Isn't that compound exercises?
Compound exercises, but
Compound supersets.
there's a particular thing that staggered sets, I think something like that, where you do opposing muscle groups. So when I do squats, compression of my spine, I do shoulder press, I do expansion. So like in my mind, I'm trying to keep the very natural movements, things that are not gonna hit my body or anything, things that may be challenging as well, but I can gradually overload it without damaging my joints because I don't want to have any injuries.
Yeah, bro.
So it's a whole bunch of, and that's why sometimes I stick mostly to working out because I rather be able to work out and be able to do other things than to like be practicing things that deteriorate my physical condition. I want to be fresh. Because I'm pretty sure if I'm fresh, I'm better than when I'm not.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, fresh but strong.
when you get older, you're thinking of your body and you're looking sexy and you're thinking of the functionality of your body.
It hurts, my back hurts. I was doing deadlift.
Yeah, man. So yes, welcome guys to Free Flow, where we take a look into the minds of people who are successful, inspiring, and genuinely interesting. I am your host, Nurkeever Griffith, and today I have with me, I would say, you're probably one of my oldest partners, if I'm being quite honest. I've known you for well over 10 years, coming to think about it, and remember when we were neighbors, and you know, that's actually when I met you. I was either like about late primary school or early secondary school, around there. That's when I met you. So that's quite a while back, you know, come to think about it. You know, we kind of got disconnected when I moved because I ended up moving and reconnected in college, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, he's one of I would say my oldest friends. This guy is an entrepreneur. This guy is a vegan artist, I would say. I would say a culinary artist. That's what I would say. You're an entrepreneur. You're a friend. Guys, let's just welcome Mr. Eddision. Woo! Would you like to go by Eddision?
Yeah, man, for sure. My first name.
Eddision,
I've become comfortable with it, you know.
All right.
I used to figure it was very serious, you know. That's how I'd view it. I'm like, boy, it's one thing. And then in primary school, you know, and I'm not performing bad. I'm not performing badly at all. And in fact, I'm not really even studying at the early stages. I didn't really know how to study like that. And the name, when I would introduce myself, I'd be like, well, I sound kind of like how I am, you know. And it's kind of just, it's very serious, isn't it?
Yeah. But I don't take you as such a serious person now, though.
Yeah, I think that's much of the reason why I don't think about it either. Like,
that's something you worked on.
Yeah.
Being
for sure,
uptight.
for sure, because you know, it's like if you don't you don't think about it, you put no attention over it, then you just end up doing whatever. And that's how society might run for your feathers, you know. So you kind of just have to decide how you want to be and just flow, you know.
Would you say you consciously, for me, I when I think of successful people, and I do think of you as successful, by the way, my definition of successful is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And I believe that you're pursuing a worthy ideal every day. So I do see you as successful. But just going back to what I was saying, I do see successful people as people that do things consciously and deliberately. And I realize your look and I guess the way you act, your personality. Would you say it's something that's very conscious? Something you deliberately do, not just your personality, but just the way you dress, the way you present yourself, certain things that you do. Is it deliberate? Is it conscious?
For sure. You know, it takes on like the multi-layered aspect of my psyche. It's kind of like why I feel like I deserve my free time. Like, it's kind of why I feel like whatever I'm doing is it's not so much of an object. It's like a real life for me. It's like, it makes sense. Like, that's what I ought to do, so to speak. Or that's at the level of my personal view in terms of my duty, my relations, how I act. And it's deliberate because I came up around Honorable Priest Kailash in some of my most impressionable years when I was 17 to 19. And still even after that in professional relationships otherwise. And I mean, the Honorable Priest coached me and has influenced me so much. He's left me things that I still can ponder on, you know, that I may not have fully fulfilled even in this space.
Trust me,
so
I can relate.
I very much appreciate that because it gives you a room to grow, something to fit into, and an ideal that you can take seriously. And without discrediting anything whatsoever of the journey, just embracing the reality, the facts. It doesn't hurt, to be honest. It doesn't hurt to take into consideration the most honest things you hear, you know. It doesn't mean it has to be nice. It has to be funny.
It just like go kill you.
Yeah, it'll not kill you. It doesn't have to be funny, but you have to take it in because it's just life, you know. And if one has to stunt themselves from feeling life and learning and being actually moved, then you just don't grow. And it hurts you everywhere, financially, relationships. I remember reading a book called Crucial Conversations, and learning how to dialogue at these depths is not easy. Really and truly, you have to have certain skills, and people fall short all the time. And the most difficult times is when sometimes we act the worst, and it's like, you know, really and truly, that's how it is. So I take in a lot of what I've learned, and it's really influenced me to be deliberate, be clear, be just, at least for myself. Like, I wouldn't feel remorseful about my actions just like that. It took a lot for me to say, like, wow, I shouldn't have done that. Like, wow, I don't really feel that way because I want to have the opportunity to see myself, be myself, and to look at that and understand it, take it in without judging, so I can actually understand. And then from your understanding, you'll be surprised. You could have a transformation.
Yeah, man.
And if you're somebody who's tapped into passion, like a flame for no reason, then you don't know where it'll take you.
I think that's one of the most exciting things about just being passionate and pursuing something that you're passionate about. Is just not knowing where it will take you and just being present in the journey itself. For me, that's one of the most exciting things. Just for this podcast that I've been doing, that's one of the most exciting things for me. Is just not really knowing where it will take me, but just being so present in the journey. Because for now, I've just been inviting, you know, more or less close partners, that kind of thing, people I know or I have connections with, that kind of thing. And it's just been such a great journey having conversations with these people, because that's my partners, but I don't really speak to them because I'm a bit of a hermit, you know?
Exactly.
So you know, it just
Makes sense.
I'm a bit of a hermit, so you know, it's just really exciting to, you know, have a conversations, get to know my partners better, make friends, you know, because sometimes one, two times I invite somebody I don't really know that well, but just because I find they're probably interesting, they're probably an inspiring person, that kind of thing. So yeah, I feel like that's one of the more exciting parts of just pursuing something that you're passionate about.
And then to have it on record is an extremely important opportunity, so that it's more tangible, that even after the time has passed, maybe you transition, you change. People have all sorts of things, heartbreak, somebody passes away, you never know. You go, okay, you get married, you just never know.
Yeah.
And then life changes, but you still love to capture the moment
Yeah, man, for
when
sure.
it's really mature.
That's innate in us. That's human nature for us to want to always capture the moments. Even I feel like we break it down to Instagram and social media, taking pictures, with your phone and cameras, but it's almost like even history itself is, our ancestors' way of capturing the moment.
Of course.
In a sense.
But writing on the
it's
cave
innate.
wall, why would you write on the cave wall? You and your partners, you're like partying.
Yeah, man.
You'll just finish, kill some animal, you're breezing, fire started, you
Your
have
belly
nobody
full.
around. You're hearing the doves, all kind of birds probably we never heard before.
Yeah.
All kind of sounds that we can relate to, rivers that don't exist now. And most likely, it was just feeling really great. They were feeling like, wow, like, man, I'm free. I don't know nothing about nothing. Like, I just, wow, my mind is free.
And
The way the mind would probably pursue nature without being conditioned, I would really be interested in seeing that.
Man, for sure.
Even if it's for 10 minutes, you just take me through that, because
I think
I'm pretty sure, like, everything feels new and you don't have a word for it.
I feel like you'd be overwhelmed, bro. You'd be overwhelmed.
Because in the spaces where the mind is very elastic and hasn't been conditioned for rigid means, starvation and poverty and the harshness of what capitalism might be into some people. But it's just the fact that we have our own perspectives, which are usually like an unwinding of what we've been conditioned. But to be raw, and like these guys probably wanted to put that onto the caves, wanted to put that onto the stone, because they really felt moved. And that's probably why, and sometimes putting together the infrastructure to do things like this, to have these spaces, it makes you someone that we can really, really lean on and say like, wow, I appreciate the opportunities that are at hand. Because sometimes on our own, we might feel a little self-centered going so deep into documenting. I don't like to speak on my Instagram, like, talk too much. I just don't like to. It's just because, like, I don't want to. I personally like the photo album aesthetic, like,
Same.
That's what I like to see, like colors, like a vibe, a picture that's just abstract off Tumblr or something like that. And then that's my kind of vibe. But in these spaces, in relationship communication, discussing things about our business atmosphere, our work, what has propelled us to get there. It's a mindset. It gives opportunity for us to shift,
True. Why vegan cuisine? Let me repeat that, because I think I butchered the last word. Why vegan cuisine?
Well, vegan cuisine to me.
Sorry. Before you answer that, are you vegan?
Well, I've been vegan for about 8 years.
Oh, wow.
And in the last, I think it was just before Carnival last year, I started to have select like a mussel seafood for myself. I don't really like to cook it, and I don't cook it actually, to be honest with you. But I just wanted the freedom too, because I went vegan for my personal intellectual reasons and pursuits, never health related or anything of the sort. And I went in with both feet, because I felt like, listen, eating dead animals as a main source of nutrition really doesn't make sense from a point of biology and perhaps even aspects of the organic chemistry. So I said to myself, like, the most energy being at the bottom of the food chain. Okay, we have dialogue on how we can break down the quote-unquote grass that we always put. But instead of grass, how about you put raw fruits, vegetables, etc., and tell me like that's 100% energy? Because the same cows and stuff can eat that as well.
Yeah.
So why can they get 100% off of eating the fruits and vegetables and I can't? Or why are we just focusing on the cash-driven industry of meat, dairy, cheese, eggs, poultry, and not on the sustainable, actually ecologically supportive, food security supportive farming, production of raw fruits, vegetables, making it easy, accessible, juices at parties and stuff. We have to admit that the capitalism just made us monsters, because all we're really concerned about is alcohol, like, the processed foods, which are cheap to make to some extent and produce a lot of money, but still also support the progress of chronic illness, cancers, issues of the body. Not saying like that's the main reason. There's not that doesn't directly always cause that. There's hereditary reasons, all sorts of epigenetic reasons, all reasons. But saying that it supports it and that we know that through our own research, we could find it easy on the web, it doesn't make sense, because sooner or later you're gonna be sending your money straight through to the pharmacy, to the doctors through surgery, through the same industries that are owned by the people who make these decisions, who make the ads, who put it in your primary school book, that food table, who told you that made sense, who got that approved. Because when you understand how society works, society is almost owned by mobsters, really and truly. So when it comes down to it, to a certain extent, the goodwill, the interest in our health and life coming out from the higher ups, it's not existent. The guys are after their money. The guys know what makes money and they know what they're doing. And they have enough money to influence the teachers, to influence the education boards. They have the lawyers and the judges. And if necessary, the people have money enough to do it, to support their businesses for dairy, poultry, all sorts of stuff. They will do it. And then still, culturally, you work on that. You make it normal. You give us fast food. You make it available. It's easy to get anywhere. Always prepared. Always on hand. Even if it have to spoil, it's on hand. Just saying. You do that, bro. Of course we're going to eat that stuff. You try to season it well. You use the herbs. You use the spices. You put some veggies next to it. You try hard enough. Yeah. And we sold. But then, really and truly, to eat vegetable-based, plant-based, vegan is like very practical to me. I don't see how I would not do that. I'm not saying that one cannot have the animal proteins, but I wouldn't base my diet on it like that. Just off of how long it takes to digest, just off of the backlog, the uric acid, like little aspects of it that I was introduced to without refutal or rebuttal per se. And that's what you find. That's the weird part. You start this health conversation. Very few people are going to tell you you're wrong. Most people are going to agree with you. The difficulty is habit. The difficulty is, if we agree with you, I'm not going to tell you, come and be vegan with me. Let's all quit the meat. I'm not telling you. I don't feel like I don't want to tell anybody to do that, to be honest. The reason being, I don't think that's how it works. How about you understand what vegan food could taste like? Why you might want it? How you can do it? Because remember, I make a lot of cheese, vegan cheeses, mozzarellas to make mac and cheese and shepherd's pie. Yeah, man, that's my specialty. Okay. These sauces, that is my specialty, bro. Nice. In the vegan space, and I like it.
I would say if anybody had to change my mind about it, it would be you. Well, not really change my mind, because I was vegan for about 12 hours. It was during COVID time. It was maybe, let's say, about a couple of weeks. The hardest part about being vegan is, one, buying the ingredients during COVID at the time, and two, actually knowing the recipes for meals that actually making sense to eat. Because for you, it's like, the nutritional facts for the food. So you know what kind of combinations of things to do. Obviously, you have to educate yourself.
I know that now. When I went vegan, I was like 16. I just got baptized in a Pentecostal church. And my friend gave me some scholars to look at. That's when Trayvon Martin got killed in the US. And he couldn't do nothing. And nobody really could help him. That's when I started to distrust certain elements of the developed world, where as an immigrant, really and truly, bro, it's very scary. Even though I say as an immigrant for myself, but I mean, as a black man, just be honest, they know what's going on. We all know what's going on. It's just like, you can't really blame nobody. You can't blame anybody too much, because you're there because you want to be there. You're taking your risk because you're there. Like, that's just how life works.
Let's see how long this video stays up. Okay.
No, it's not so. I'm not trying to go so deep and anybody
bro.
So heavily. I'm not saying that somebody might not choose to do it, but I'm not choosing to do it. That's not my intention. I'm just saying, like, it, and that's what my friend was telling me. Like, yo, if if the segregation end and you want to stay at the fellas on the fellas doorstep in the communities, you want to be there. You want to be there. Well, that's what happens. It's not like to say it's right. We don't feel bad. We feel very bad. I feel heartbroken. But I still feel like I understand why this is happening. Like it's not happening out of nowhere. It's a result of the condition of the space. And if you're there, you're taking on the risk. So you have to be smarter.
Yeah.
Like don't Malcolm X and say you have to be so smart, bro. You have to be so educated. You have to make sure like because that's how you're gonna really make it. You can't afford to be run down or a degenerate in a space like that. You get no rights. It's like you have no right to be there, bro. You have no right to be there. Like the land of the free, but still like free working and whatever. But anyway, that was just a short snippet to me looking into Dr. Sebi, Dr. Layla Africa, Dr. Umar Johnson. Dr. Umar has always been funny, just laugh, in my own opinion. But the other two had a real impact on me. Where Dr. Sebi and his alkaline diet, you know, that's you're still alive. That's 2016 time.
Yeah. You were
July. Yeah.
Wow.
I think he died in August. Maybe died a month after or something like that.
I always used to think I wish I found out about him while he was still alive.
And he's a guy, he man like to smoke weed. This guy and all of his YouTube videos, like his personal home speed.
Yeah.
You have his little joint. You know, you'd swear his solution, you know. Like real normal speed, yeah, just have his youth. You have his woman there, him his youth. The man feeling nice.
Yeah.
And all that to say, well, and when he got arrested, it was for carrying over 10 grand US on a plane. It was like real conspiracy, some theory type of stuff. So I already know what's up, bro. I just put that to aside.
Yeah.
It's just to say, well, I got impacted. I was already doing sciences and I felt as though, well, I might benefit from taking seriously what I'm learning. It was like nighttime. I was like, you know what? I'm going vegan tomorrow. What did I eat? Macambo boiled with a little oil, a little salt. That was the first time I seen my mom salt jar like that. Because to me, I didn't really used to cook. To me, I was not really like a very, I just started for the gym. Doing little vegetables, stir fry, buying chicken breast, I was already on a relatively healthy tangent because I'm gymming and stuff. But when I got into the vegan space, I lost a lot of weight. I didn't really know what to eat. It wasn't so fun at first.
So you never stopped?
I found my footing gradually. Even one of my partners, I didn't expect them to go vegan, but I tell him I could do that, and he just kind of did it. Like, I don't know. He did for quite a number of years, and then eventually went into fish and cheese and stuff. But that's too far for me. I can't do them type of things, bro.
So now, is it a thing where because you said you go back into eating mussels, that kind of thing. Is it a thing where if somebody offered you, let's say, chicken,
I don't want it, bro.
Is it a thing where you're disgusted by it?
Oh, I don't to me, I just don't see why I would want to consume that as a main food source. Like, I even know people who do
But do you see it as bad to consume?
Well, I just don't think it's the best protein source.
What is
especially for me?
For you?
I would say it's a combination primarily of plant protein, which has worked for me.
What kind of?
Plant protein, okay, right now the one I have has ground watermelon seed protein. Protein, quote unquote, is just the powder, really. So pea powder is pea protein. Now, lentils, take for example a pack of lentils, a ridiculous amount of protein in that. Especially if it's raw and you ground it. And that's what they're doing. And they're using probiotics and different things to help it digest properly. But these are slow digesting proteins. So it's good. Wow. It's good.
Why start a business? Why not go to culinary school, become a chef somewhere? Or, why start a business immediately?
Okay, so I always felt I was a little radical. I never really put it. In fact, now I put it into play, but I won't go into detail as to how I was radical in school.
Okay.
We had young leaders, and I encouraged a discussion on insecurities. I led a campaign on insecurities as a main trigger for bullying.
Nice.
So that is really the case. When you feel low value, you project low value, and that's why for me alone, I just never felt like I need to put anybody down. Like if you really do me something, to show yourself as as how you really are. And I disagree, and I want to have a verbal effect. Fine, but being negative usually stems from low self-worth, and that's essentially what brought us to that space. So I was very much on my own radical tangents here and there. However, when I went into the culinary space, what I thought would have been health, it was really about being natural. It was really about the herbology. It was about the African science, the ancient science within all of this, within the foods, and accessing that in a way which makes the product tangible. So some people will do alkaline foods. Some people do a lot of baked goods. There's different aspects of cuisine. But for me alone, when I approached the space, I also wanted to try food. So I ate from them. I ate from everybody. And I spent a lot of money doing that. I remember I was selling CMOS at school. And I got my foot in to try enough stuff to know what I like, to get to know what I like, to be able to go and buy a bottle of grapeseed oil, 40, 50, 60 bucks, because I'm selling CMOS, so I can afford to eat nice. And then my mom is a nurse, so she's supporting me because she thinks it's healthy. Although I lost a lot of weight, I'm skinny now. And that's not good, but I didn't know better. And I figured I was on the early path, the early aspects of my journey. And I kept to it. I never broke my tires or anything, my liver for anything. I wasn't really concerned. It wasn't fun. I remember I had a girlfriend at the time and she wasn't really liking that. She was telling me like, bro, eat fish. Like my uncle eats fish, he's kind of like that. He's a ras, but eats fish. And I'm like, bro, nah, I don't want to. Because I don't go too deep in the info. I want to see what's up. I want to know what's up. I want to know. I want to do it.
You have the magic glasses.
I will bust it up.
You put the magic glasses, you can't move them, but you put it, you can't move it.
I can't move it. So I just went deeper and deeper, and years passed, and I wanted to do either herbology or become a vegan chef. I was trying to do my social studies SBA on something related to that, and I wanted to speak to the priest, and I tried, and that didn't really work out. But that's the first time I entered Levity. Food of Seven, they were in Bois de Rouge at that time, very close to my home. And thereafter, when I went to Castries, my friends were already going to Safa, went to the restaurant, this and that. I met the UK owner actually, because there were different partners involved in the business. And that was essentially how I got introduced to the priest. And I told him, hey, I've done a campaign on insecurities for young leaders. I won Young Leaders of the Year, this and that. I'm sure I could help promote and sell the business and market the business and make it more popular, especially among young people like myself. That's really and truly what I said in a nutshell. A little bit, in my view, a little bit overzealous. I think even the UK owners like, yeah, don't oversell yourself or anything. I was like, yeah. But truth be told, when it came time to do Levity in 5 and do the TV programs, I really kept up to what I said. I tried my best to market the business and to make it tangible. And there were lots of young people from Safa, girls, guys, all sorts of people who would come to the restaurant, and I would have good, positive interactions with them. And it's only years later people were telling me that, yeah, they were always talking about my cooking, and that they would send somebody all the way to town to get that for them, the vegan food, like and I was actually in the kitchen as well. I was cooking the food too. I was tasting the food. So I'm pretty sure the food was good enough because I was eating the food.
For sure. And I know the food good.
Yeah, the food was good, bro. The food was good. The priest and them know what they were doing. In fact, I learned things from them that are abstract. So when I combine that with some of the more traditional things and some things I learned elsewhere, I actually have a unique product. Sure. I'm like, my experience of being around the priest and so on has allowed me to know what ITAL food is, what it tastes like, what vegan food tasted like in 2017, 18, 19, what people used to buy. So, it was a really positive space. It introduced me to many people. It brought me into a community of people who appreciate and implore me to stay in the health food space. It's not that I can't. I was supposed to go to, after I resigned from Levity, to pursue my education. I thought to myself, like, I would do biochemistry. I was already accepted to KVL. I'm a Bayesian as well. I'm half Bayesian.
Okay.
And I just thought, like, yo, everybody knows you right now. Like, every supermarket you go to, I'm with my mom. They tell me, oh, that's your son? Oh, you have a bright son. Yeah. I watch him all the time. And I could see she's liking that. That's for her own personal thoughts of it. But regardless, I'm saying, like they can actually associate the face to the name, to the product. That's very important.
Yeah, man,
that's very important. Now, I hadn't been doing so much reading, like so much business pursuit. I was always working. I was in the kitchen 15 hours, 16 hours, scooter early in the morning to the kitchen to do breakfast, to do lunch, prepare dinner for the private clients, make roti shells, go around. I was really in it because I liked the vibe. I liked the energy of the space. It's just to say in the later years, I wanted to see it become modernized. I wanted to see sauces. I wanted to see vegan cheeses on stuff. I wanted to see if I wanted bread could be grilled vegan toast and vegan cheese toast and all kind of stuff could be made in the space of a restaurant. In my own opinion, like with that sort of infrastructure. So it kind of became a point. I kind of got to a point where I wanted to see my vision manifest. And it was natural. It wasn't conflict oriented. I just genuinely wanted to see more of that. And I started in the restaurant. My first vegan photo shoot was in Liberty Foods. And I had asked, I used to work on the Saturdays, on the Sabbath, or on the Sundays, usually on the Sundays, to do prep. And that was during the time when I did my first food shoot.
Nice.
And it was Alan Favorite that did the food shoot with me at the time. And yeah, man, that's my first documentation of my particular work, my hands, what I'm doing. And I tried it into the menus. I mean, not everything synergized. It wasn't perfect, you know, and love doesn't make itself perfect. So even though I had serious interest into the food, I still had to take a process.
Yeah, man, for sure.
And even now, I mean, I'm just 25. It doesn't matter to me that I've been in the industry for what, maybe 8 years, whatever. I still feel as though I'm young in the industry, as if I can just start, as if I could start right now, start today. You know,
you have a lot of experience.
You know, I have the experience. Yeah, I've done what I've done. It's a nice machine, and it works for me how I need it to work. I want to be there for my clients on the days that I tell them I'm gonna be there with no disappointments. If there's a holiday, I will compromise, you know. I'll make another day happen or something. But if I have an emergency, same thing. But otherwise, I want my presence. In fact, I jumped Carnival last year, bro. I jumped Carnival Monday, Tuesday, and Cardinal opened on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, bro. You know, and that's how it's supposed to be. I don't even think my staff was ready for Wednesday. But I did it. I didn't really care because, and that's sort of, right now I work without staff, and that's sort of what caused me to gain the confidence to do that, and has had me pursuing that for different reasons. But I kind of appreciate the space that's been built over those few years in my kitchen with different personas and actually learning from my staff as well. And I see other businesses develop exponentially with that same mindset. Still, for me, I like the refining process, getting it right, putting things in line, being able to be consistent every time, dependable on a certain level of my process. And that's kind of what I like about entrepreneurship. Sooner or later, you put together a full system which is complete with very little to no cracks. And that's when you know you've understood what business is about. When you can operate, actually manage, institute a business, like actually do it.
So you say you wanted to see your vision manifest, like, so you mean when you say that, you mean when you left Liberty?
Even before I left. But again, I didn't really mention this part where with the traditional Ital and Rastafari culture, there's still an exclusion of certain ingredients. And now that's what makes a little more conflict. It's not like, it's not bad. Conflict doesn't mean it's bad.
It's just not your vision. Yeah, okay, so I understand.
I have no right to dictate somebody else's vision.
Yeah, for sure.
Without consent. You get me? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I feel like at a certain point, you have to kind of break out on your own to make it into something that is yours. Yeah. So just moving from that though, when you actually started cooking, you know, in both you know, a physical sense and what's the word I'm looking for? A metaphoric sense. When you started cooking, you turned the vision into something that's more or less yours. Do you have any plans in terms of improvement, in terms of just new things that you'd like to offer for your business? Because from what I can see, your business is fairly sustainable now for you, for you personally, just for you. But in terms of improvement, do you see any sort of improvement for it?
I still feel like as a business owner, because of the way I run my business, because it's 3 days a week, I still want to hit a higher level of efficiency just in my own action and behavior without much changes, really, without many changes.
Changes in terms of what?
So to speak, I just want to see more rigid scheduling. I want my personal actions to just fall a little more in line with my intentions. And that's like a discipline game. It's like a loading up game. Yeah. It's a patience game.
So in terms of product though, and an increase in clients, an increase in money, that kind of thing, is that in the
Yeah, I
is that
equate
in the
it to
vision?
much of the same because with an efficient management of the business system, all that is in place. Because essentially it's a plan and execution. And it doesn't always involve many personnel. Like for me, it's not such a big house of cuisine that it needs to be held up by many people. I think it's a case of efficiency where
Yeah.
the fact that I know through and through, it's almost like you do the same thing enough that you know it at a 360-degree level,
Yeah.
and then you start to do it at an unusually fast pace.
But the reason why I asked
And,
that though is that you said being more disciplined and efficient,
Yeah.
but you can be more efficient in just doing the same thing. So let's say you have 10 clients, right?
Mhm.
You will be more efficient in serving 10 clients.
Mhm.
So you will know it by like the back of your head. You'll probably do routine mapping of, where these people are. You more efficiency in terms of deliveries, efficiency in terms of prep, but you're still dealing with these 10 people, which means you making that same amount of money from that 10 people. So when I say in terms of money and clientele, are you looking for improvement in that too?
Well, for me, I've seen my business do very well in the last 5 years. The first year was very experimental, very early, but
How long
still very
have
early.
you-
6 years
6 years, okay.
from 2019. So 2019 was very early, very authentic, and coming out of that, I used to prepare 7 dishes for my plate of food. For my meal, 7 different sides for my particular meal.
Wow.
I was like, yeah, I want to go to the 9 yards, and then I saw what that was like, what it took from me. And later on, I was able to get a little simplify it a bit more. But I've always liked a certain level of diversity.
Yeah.
I don't want it too simple. I want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't. It's almost like a for me situation. Unfortunately, how I look at business, like I look at myself as a client as well.
But that's good.
I know I eat out. I know I'm the type of person who buys certain foods, certain places, and I see other clients of mine who do the same, and I understand.
That's good. You have to put
it's
a
good
bit
to
of you in
refine
it.
your palate as well. Like you have to really know what's around, what tastes like what, and why we tolerate it and what we like, so that genuinely you know what is good. You have to know what.
I could see why your food is so good,
Thanks,
because your food is actually really good. I've only bought from you once, just because I generally don't buy food. But bro, I think I haven't had that much vegan cuisine. However, if I had you as a personal chef, yeah man, 100% I would turn vegan. 100%.
You'd be surprised when I'm grilling something and it looks like a steak, and you're like, and that's when you get to know, like, that's what the vegan cuisine can offer. It's really just your nutrition and then your palate, and that's it. Because you kind of need a balance,
But that's really cool though. That's really cool. Like I see the hardest thing about being vegan, because as I say, it's something that I've wanted. I haven't prioritized it, but it's something that I've wanted. If I had somebody just cooking for me, bro, I can buy everything, just cook for me and give my food every single day. Vegan, time.
For sure. But I always encourage though, if you want to see a vegan lifestyle come closer, you just bring it closer. You don't take anything out of your lifestyle yet. You just bring what you want closer.
So add in.
Yeah, you just add it. You just add it. And then when you're comfortable enough, you drop certain things that you don't need. Incrementally. Because no cap, if you are the type of guy who on a Sunday you make a vegan lasagna in the morning, then that's bad. You don't have to make that already. Like you've been practicing this one. That's your favorite, and all you need with that is a little grilled fish fillet or something. You're not sinning too bad. You're much closer to your goal than when you started. It doesn't mean you cannot say you want to go all in, but I don't know why. In fact, I think Black Armstrong, one of the guys in the space, a trainer, fitness guy, he told me he's gone vegan. Like it's a couple months now, maybe 8-9 months or whatever, even a year. I don't remember exactly what time span he gave. And I was like, that's interesting, because really and truly, nobody's in charge of your life and what you eat, bro. It's you. It's always you.
Yeah.
So you don't even want to start to conform, because conformity is a form of violence. Just so you know, it's a form of violence. You have to suppress yourself and almost force yourself to conform. It's a form of violence.
Okay.
So you rather let your mind come upon something naturally than to force it upon yourself. Because sooner or later you have anxiety, you feel weird, and you don't know why. It's you putting yourself under pressure, knowing full well that's not what you want. You're forcing yourself. For what? There's nothing to prove. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's just you. It's not that deep. So you have to kind of decide right away. Are you going to do what you really want to do? Okay, now keep doing that.
Yeah.
Keep doing that so that at least you feel less inclined to resist conflict. And that's where you get your seamless vision from doing what you really want to do.
Yeah, man.
And you must also be very concerned as to not be violent or force others.
Yeah.
Because that is another form of conflict.
Yeah.
And then we find ourselves depleted at the end of the day, feeling drained. If I feel like that, I'm wondering, like, what's going on? What are you doing, But
the thing is, as I said before, we kind of, we don't realize that people are different, so when we're enjoying something, we want to share. That's love. Mm-hmm. That's our natural inclination.
Of course.
But sometimes what I want to share with you, you don't want to do that. So
yeah, no, the beauty is with sharing, and that's why relationships are the ultimate test. Mm-hmm. Because why should I deprive you of your peace of mind so as to share something with you? It doesn't even make sense. If I'm gonna share it with you, I must choose a method or means to show it to you, mm-hmm. and to not have to adulterate the moment. I don't have to diminish the moment, mm-hmm. make the place feel weird or heavy or anything like that. You kind of just want to be able to be like, look, sharing your phone. Like, you take your own impression. Mm-hmm. You digest it on your own, and that's the part of the freedom that scholarship requires. Because for you to learn, for you to actually study, you need to feel free. You need to have freedom. Look at the college. The way we felt at the college, we felt relatively free, apart from the little rigidity of the system. Yeah. But we had a great balcony full of space, big seaside view, a cliff in VG. Nobody else is at the cliff. We at the cliff. It's just us.
Yeah.
And we're enjoying the space, the atmosphere, the birds, the trees. Believe it or not, that was what I liked about St. Mary's from Form 1. Like, looking at the big tree, the smell of the space. Like, it was just different. It was just a space I didn't know before I came there.
Yeah, come to think about it, I mean, if we go in there, I mean, that's how you would learn the easiest there. If you're in an environment where you're basically at peace and it's easy to learn, because as you described how the place was, we had a big balcony at the top of the Form 3 block.
Every block full of balcony, bro.
Well, when I say the balcony, because that particular balcony had the view, view of the beach, and you could see the whole of VG and all that kind of thing. And just a general area of the school, like, it was just a very open concept, and you felt free in a sense. I mean, it was a little bit easy to be, but
but I'm laughing at, bro.
Yeah,
that's the freedom, because at the end of the day, you need the freedom to choose. Yeah. So when you make a choice, don't watch nobody, don't say nothing, because you choose. Yeah. You had your time, you had your choice. Yeah.
But circling back to what we were saying though, how do you see that business as your business is now? How do you see it improving in the future?
Okay, so currently,
to be more of your vision, I guess.
Currently, I serve anywhere between 1,000 and 1,500 clients, all from Cap Estate to Goodlands mainly.
Okay.
And on any given day, I would access a nice percentage of my clients for these meals. Now, I'm a chef. I believe I'm only as good as my last meal.
Okay.
So I have no business serving mediocre food. When I do, if I make a mistake, I personally need to know the root of it. I'm going to eat the food. I'm going to try it.
Yeah, man.
And I want to know why. If I made a mistake, I still want to know why I felt it was okay.
Yeah.
So, what gave me the right to do that type of thing? That's my lunch now. I done unhappy already. I done seen boy, you don't even know what could happen because of that. You mustn't do that. And it could be something small. It could be salt, pepper, this and that. But it's you really do have to be serious. Could be acidity, fat, We have acid reflux, but all kind of stuff. So the food has to be really good, proved, so that you can enjoy it. You can have it without a guilt. It's not real cheese. It's not this and that.
You ever got bad reviews?
Yeah, of course. In the last few years, of course, I've had instances where I've messed up my dishes. For sure.
But what I was saying is, I'm so happy that you actually take time to review your food and review the quality of your food, especially because you would find that when places just open the food bad, and then couple months later, or even like a year, 2 years later, the quality decreased drastically. That made me stop going certain places, a lot of places, just because the food started off good, and then a year, 2 years down the line, it's either crappy or like for the quality of food you're getting is way overpriced and that kind of thing. And I'm like, bro, that's why I find now like I just don't eat out.
Yeah, I understand. I can't even blame you.
I don't buy food. Only if it's, and it's only like fast food. So like if I hungry, I do it whole day and I need food now, I buy a fast food. You know, that kind of thing. But apart from that, I don't really.
And who could blame you, bro? Because I'll be honest, like I've eaten the places I used to eat every week, and then I had to stop after a while. Why? Because some things just didn't have no salt and it wasn't tasting no way. I was like, bro, you see me? I don't like to tell people how to cook food. Like, that's one thing I don't like, because you're doing it for your clients.
But at the same time,
I don't say I can't give feedback, and that's why I don't judge my clients or anything they do. I don't judge them because I'm my own person too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it will motivate me to just do something else because there's other things to do, you know.
Yeah.
It's just that's what you're used to.
Yeah.
And that's why right now it's only a few places I eat at because I know they know how to do it right. So there's aspects of it that will really prevent it from being done wrong. You can't really get that wrong.
True.
But it's up to you when you take a recipe to make it make sense. Like my lasagna now would probably not be the same lasagna from 2 years to 3 years ago.
Yeah, man.
Because there's subtle changes.
Constantly
Maybe you take out the liquid smoke, maybe you add this and that. You know, there's different aspects to it to make it make sense. So I used to do a lot of recipe development. In fact, my friend Big C, Kasim, helped me do so much recipe development.
Just by
reviewing it, discussing it with me. He used to be a chef. He went to culinary school. So it's like people around me.
Wow,
Chef Lee was also one of my friends who've come into my kitchen to show me how to cost, show me which books to get, to have all the info, like the full info of what you would need in a professional kitchen, the equipment, etc. I've invested in equipment and I have all my stuff and my stoves. And
you have an actual space that you're in that you used to cook
for me, I still operate from my home kitchen, which is mainly used for work because I really don't cook on my off days like that.
Okay.
In the early stages, I used to practice cooking all the time, bro, like all the time. From 2019 to maybe 2021, 2021, like at least the first 3 years, practice non-stop until I got a footing, until I got a little more confident. I'll just try something new on a whim. I'll look at things, and that's kind of where we got to after a while, even with my friends, because we'd have gone through a lot of the main stuff, and right now it's just about you trying it and tweaking the flavors based on what you like.
Sure. I agree, bro. So we just moving on to another segment. I like to do a game, toward the end of the show. So the name of the game is Who Said This? As the name. So basically I say a quote and you have to do your best to tell me who said that quote.
All right.
I don't know how well you'll do. I hope you don't do well.
Let's see. I'm feeling real uncertain. Let's see what's going on.
That's the thing, but not good.
Yeah.
Alright, so who said this? Alright, I have 14 phrases from different people, and you're gonna let me know who said it, okay?
All right.
So, Wakanda Forever. We're gonna start easy.
That's Black Panther.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Correct. I am Groot.
Can you repeat it?
I am Groot.
Groot. I don't beat already, boy.
You know what, Guardians of the Galaxy? Marvel.
A long time ago.
Well, they have a character, Groot. The tree kind of.
Oh, yeah, Groot.
Yeah,
no cap. That's
yeah,
good for sure.
I am Groot.
Wait.
Yabba Dabba Doo.
That's Flintstones. What's his name again? Fred?
Oh, bro, I'm surprised you got that. Yes, Fred Flintstone. To be or not to be? That is the question. Have you heard that before?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Shakespeare?
Yeah.
We're coming with a twang. To be or not to be. So you have to kind of like figure out like who's talking like that, bro? Like
it can be somebody from
can't be like yeah.
Alright, I'm not doing it. I'm doing it.
Okay, Joseph. Since when the speaker job is to interpret contract.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Muhammad Ali.
Is it, bro?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Barack Obama.
Bro, I'm very surprised that you know all these things. Okay, I mean, I'm not that much older than you. Just do it.
Nike.
Yes.
Or Nike.
Well, you know
Someone
that
said
one.
Nike. I don't know. I said
It's the
Nike.
same
I
thing.
don't know why.
Nike, same thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright.
Bob Marley.
I believe I can fly.
R. Kelly. I had to load up the R. Kelly for you.
Okay, I am the map. I am the map.
That's the map from Dory.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. This is Sparta.
It's like God of War, but it's like what was that? Maybe Cassius? Perseus? I don't know exactly who.
No God of War.
But
the same kind of genre kind of thing. Not a game.
Spartan,
it's a movie.
It's a boy.
It's a movie.
Spartan, no?
300.
300, okay.
Yeah, you see 300 already?
I've seen it,
Yeah.
But these kind of movies always look like something I've seen before, bro.
Yeah.
It's like I keep adding scenes on the same movie. Like it feels like I'm still in Pussy Jacks. I still in Pussy or whatever. I'm still in all that.
Pussy Jackson.
Pussy Jackson, for real.
Yeah.
All the things I like it, but don't mind that. The Greek mythology and them things coming out of ancient Egypt, Kemet, which is very early, very authentic, very African. Very black. But then, we're not getting much of that. What to do? Yeah.
True. What's up, Doc?
Bugs Bunny.
Bro, you beating that, what? Let it go. Let it go twice. Let it go. Let it go.
That's it's a princess from Disney movie.
Yeah, actually.
But I try to remember. Is it Snow White?
No. Snow White, bro. Snow White is old.
I don't know. It's like they just remake them things, so I'm not sure.
Try guessing one more time. Ready for the answer?
Yeah, ready for
Elsa, Frozen.
Frozen. That's
a more modern one.
You know what's funny? That's things I used to watch with like my secondary school girlfriends and things like that. Yeah, by force, thing like that. My brain wasn't ready to accept the title.
You have to rephrase that though. You have to say that's things you used to watch with your girlfriend when you were in secondary school.
Oh yeah, fact.
Not your secondary school girlfriend.
But when I was in secondary school.
Because you're far from secondary school.
Yeah. People take that literally.
Yeah,
it's so true.
You know people already.
It's so true. Now you see if I'm not on camera, I seen it. But on camera, I have to be careful. I don't need it in
Next week they see.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah, but we've come to the end of the show, bro. It was fun. Nice conversation. I like deep conversation. Thank you so much for being here. You're literally making one of my dreams come true. Honestly, I don't even know how much footage we're going to get because I've been having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, but I find we have heavy content.
Yeah, so. But I still appreciate just showing up to help me make my dream come true. One of my dreams. Thank you so much for being here, bro. If you like this video, just make sure you like, subscribe, follow on all social media: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. And also just follow us on all audio platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, all that kind of stuff. Anything else you want to say before we exit?
Stay positive, stay blessed.
And also just follow him on Instagram. Just say your social media.
Well, it's Cardinal Vegan Cuisine. Vegan Chef 758, Cardinal Vegan Cuisine. And I am Don Squeeze on my personal Insta.
Alright, perfect, man. Well, so if that's all, thank you so much for watching and we will see you in the next one. Peace.